Hi and welcome back to our page. I want to tell you about something that happened recently. I was working with a registered manager, a really lovely woman, genuinely passionate about care and has been in the sector for 15 years. Her service delivers brilliant care. I mean, her clients adore her team, families write thank you cards and staff actually enjoy coming to work. And she's just had her CQC inspection. She got requires improvement and she was devastated. Genuinely devastated. And when she called me, she said something I've heard so many times. I just don't understand. We do everything right. Our care is good. How did this happen? So I asked her one question. I said, show me your feedback from the last 6 months. Show me what your clients have said about you, or show me your staff surveys. Show me what the GP or social workers have said. Hesitated briefly and said, well, we don't really. We haven't collected that. And there it was. She had immaculate policies, beautiful care plans, training matrix colour-coded and up-to-date, audit schedules running like clockwork, but she had almost nothing to show for the 3 of the 4 evidence categories that actually carry the most weight in CQC inspections. Here's what most providers don't realise. Documents, your policies, your care plans, your paperwork are just one of 6 types of evidence that CQC collect. 1 out of 6, and it's not even close to being the most important one. Over 60% of the evidence CQC now uses to judge your service is feedback-based. It comes from people, their voices, their experiences, their opinions about your care. In this episode, I'm going to show you exactly what those 6 evidence categories are and why 3 of them are probably missing from your inspection preparation, and how to make sure that when CQC come calling, you've got the evidence that actually mattered. So let's start with the basics. What are these 6 evidence categories? Under the single assessment framework, the system CQC now uses to inspect and rate services, they group all their evidence into 6 distinct categories. Number 1, people's experience. This is feedback from the people you actually care for, their families, their advocates, anyone who experiences your service from the receiving end. Number 2, feedback from staff and leaders. What your care workers say about working for you, what your managers say about leading the service, and the voice of your team. Number 3, feedback from partners. This is what external professionals think of you. So GPs, social workers, district nurses, occupational therapists, commissioners, safeguarding teams, anyone who works alongside your service. Number 4, observation. What inspectors see directly when they visit. So staff behaviour, interactions, the culture they feel when they walk into your office or accompany a carer on a call. Number 5, processes. This is your documentation, your policies, procedures, care plans, risk assessments, MAR charts, training records, audit results, essentially the paperwork. Lastly, number 6, outcomes. The measurable impact of care and how people's lives have actually improved because of what you do. Here's what's crucial if you're a domiciliary care provider. Category 6, which is outcomes. It's not used for domiciliary care assessments. CQC don't score you on that one. And category 4, observation, is limited for home care. Inspectors can't follow your staff into people's homes the way they can wander through a care home. They might accompany a carer on a call occasionally, but it's not the main source of evidence. For domiciliary care, you're really looking at 4 categories that matter. People's experience, staff feedback, partner feedback, and processes. 3 of those 4 are feedback-based, and that changes everything. Let me put some numbers to this, because this is where it really gets interesting. CQC have been explicit about this. Over 60% of evidence they collect under the new framework is feedback evidence. That's not a rough estimate, that's the majority of everything they consider, by a significant margin. And this isn't accidental. Do you remember the Penny Dash review from October 2024? The one that found CQC had lost credibility. One of the criticisms was what the old approach was too document heavy, too focused on processes, and not enough on what people actually experienced. The whole direction of travel since then has been towards giving more weight to what people actually say. The people receiving care, the people delivering care, and the professionals who work alongside you. Yet, when I ask providers how they're preparing for inspection, what do I see? Folders and folders of policies, hours spent perfecting care plan templates, endless tweaking of audit schedules, and when I ask to see their feedback evidence, they shake their heads. And they go on to say, we haven't really got round to that yet. That's spending 90% of your preparation time on roughly 25% of what matters, and almost completely ignoring the 60% that carries the most weight. You're leaving your rating to chance, and you're hoping CQC get positive responses when they phone your clients. You're hoping your staff say the right things in their interviews, and you're hoping the social worker they contact remembers you fondly. Let's go through each feedback category in detail, starting with the one that matters the most. Category 1, people's experience. People's experience is evidence from the human beings at the heart of everything you do. The people you care for, their families, their loved ones, their advocates. CQC call this the lived experience of care. And I think that phrase tells you something important. They're not asking whether your care looks good on paper, they're asking what it actually feels like to be cared for by your team. Now, CQC gather this evidence in several ways, and some of them you have very little control over. Firstly, they'll phone your clients directly. Before or during your inspection, inspectors will call the people you support. They'll have proper conversations asking about the care they receive, how staff treat them, whether they feel safe, whether their choices are respected. I've worked with providers who had glowing reports from these calls. The inspector told them, "Every single person we spoke to said wonderful things about your carers." That's wonderful evidence. That's hard to argue with. CQC look at feedback submitted through their own channels. They give feedback on care forms on their website, complaints they've received, concerns that have been raised, and third, this is where some have real influence. They'll look at your own feedback collection. Your service user surveys, your compliments log, your complaints log, and crucially, how you've responded to those complaints. Your quality assurance questionnaires as well make count. CQC uses something called I statements from the Making It Real framework to guide what they're looking for. These describe what good care feels like from the person's perspective. Things like, I'm supported to make my own decisions, I feel safe, I am treated with dignity and respect, the staff really listen to me. When CQC gather people's experience evidence, they're checking whether reality matches those statements. Here's what I need you to honestly ask yourself. Can you demonstrate right now that people you support are having positive experiences? Not through what's written in your care plans, through their actual words. If you can't, you need to start collecting that feedback systemically. Not once a year when you remember, regularly, in ways that make it easy for people to give you honest input. The second feedback category is what your own team says about you. And I want you to pay close attention here, because this one catches so many providers completely off guard. Here's something crucial to understand. Feedback from staff and leaders is an evidence category for every single quality statement, all 34 of them. There isn't a single area of your care where staff voice doesn't count. And CQC are proactive about speaking to your care workers. I've heard from providers whose staff received hour-long phone calls from inspectors, hour-long. Not a quick 5-minute check-in, a deep, detailed conversation about the care they provide, how they feel supported, and whether they feel confident to raise concerns. CQC might also send staff questionnaires with 20 or more questions when they're thorough. What are they actually looking for, you may ask? They want to know whether your staff feel genuinely supported, whether training is meaningful, not just tick box, whether supervisions actually happen, and whether they're real conversations or just paperwork exercises, whether people can raise concerns without fear or consequences, and whether staff feel valued, whether they actually know the people they care for, and whether they can describe what person-centered care looks like, not recite a definition, but explain how they do it. And here's where it gets really interesting. Inspectors are trained to spot coached answers. If a staff member sounds like they're reciting a script, and if they sound like they're using all the right buzzwords but they can't give real examples, that's what actually raises red flags. What inspectors want is authenticity. Staff who genuinely understand their role and care about their work. Staff who can tell stories about real people they've supported, real challenges they've navigated, and real moments where they've made a difference. You can't fake that, but you can create a culture where it flourishes. So what evidence should you be collecting? So this can include staff surveys, and I'd strongly recommend anonymous ones where people feel safe to be honest. Staff meeting minutes that show real discussion, not just management announcements. Supervision records that demonstrate genuine two-way conversations. Exit interview feedback, compliments you've received about your care team, and critically, if staff raise concerns, you need to evidence what you did about it, and that's gold. That shows you're a service that listens and acts. Third feedback category is feedback from partners. What external professionals and organisations think about working with you. And here's something that happens in almost every inspection that providers aren't prepared for. After you submit your initial documents, CQC sends a second request, usually about 2 days later. And one of the things they ask for is email addresses of healthcare professionals, social workers, and commissioners you've worked with over the past year. Then they contact these people directly, and they ask what they think of you. Think about that for a moment. Your rating is partly determined by the social worker you worked with 6 months ago and what they say about you, what the GP for one of your clients thinks about how you communicate, what the district nurse says about whether you follow through on their recommendations, and what commissioners think about your reliability. One provider told me their inspector specifically asked for contact details for an OT, a social worker, and nurses they worked with. The inspector wanted to know whether they implemented professional recommendations. Did the OT's advice actually get followed? Unfortunately, these aren't people you can coach. These aren't documents you can prepare. These are professional opinions formed over months of real interactions. What are partners typically asked about you may ask? How they communicate with them and how you communicate with them back, whether you share information appropriately and promptly, whether you respond to their concerns, whether you work collaboratively or in silos, whether they recommend you to the families, whether they have any concerns about your care. So here's my question for you. How are your professional relationships right now? When you contact a GP, do they respond? When the social services raise a concern, how quickly and how well do you deal with it? Do professionals see you as competent and reliable, or as someone they constantly have to chase? You can't fake this evidence, but you can absolutely influence it by being brilliant to work with. Communicate clearly, follow up promptly, and be proactive about sharing relevant information. Make yourself easy to contact, and you can collect positive feedback. If a district nurse says, "Your team has been fantastic with Mrs. Jones," ask them if they'd mind putting that in a quick email. Build a file of professional endorsements. I know one provider who keeps a folder specifically for partner feedback. Every positive email, every compliment, every thank you for being so responsive, it goes in the folder. When CQC came, she had 12 months of evidence showing professionals valued her service. We do, however, understand that it can be slightly difficult liaising with other healthcare professionals, but where you can, please give it a go. Now, let's talk about the category you probably know best. Processes, the documents, the paperwork. This includes your policies and procedures, your care plans and risk assessments, your MAR charts, your training records, your audit trails, and your incident logs. This is what most providers focus on almost exclusively. And yes, it matters, absolutely. But if your care plans are generic, if your risk assessments are missing, if your MAR charts have gaps, and if your staff files are incomplete, you will have problems. An experienced provider told me, risk assess absolutely everything. If someone struggles taking tablets, have they got a choking risk assessment in place? If someone has pets, is there a risk assessment for staff allergies? Are there hospital beds? Where are the risk assessments for the bed rails? Here's what I need you to understand. Processes evidence alone can't get you a good rating, let alone outstanding. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. Think of it this way. Processes show you what you say you do. Feedback evidence show whether you actually do it and whether it's working. Care plan might say a person receives person-centered, dignified care, but if that person tells CQC they feel rushed and unheard, that feedback trumps your care plan. Policy might say staff are supported to raise concerns, but if your staff tells CQC they don't feel comfortable speaking up, that feedback trumps your policy yet again. Documents are your foundation, feedback is your proof. This brings me to something called triangulation. It's how inspectors actually make their judgments, and understanding it will change how you think about evidence. When an inspector assesses a quality statement, they don't just look at one type of evidence. They look across multiple categories and ask themselves, do they tell the same story? If your care plans say you deliver person-centered care, and the people you support say they feel valued and listened to, and your staff describe how they personalize their approach for every individual, and social workers say you're responsive to changing needs, that's consistent, that's compelling, that's triangulated. That's evidence that builds confidence. But if your care plan says person-centered care, yet the people you support can't give any examples of it, and your staff sound vague when asked about it, and professionals have concerns about your flexibility, that's a big problem. The inspector sees a gap between what you claim and what you actually deliver. This is why focusing only on documents is so dangerous. You might have beautiful detailed care plans, but if the other evidence categories don't support them, inspectors will see through it. And conversely, this is also very strong feedback, can also help you. If your documentation isn't perfect, but everyone speaks glowing about your care, that genuinely counts. Inspectors use professional judgment now. They're weighing up the whole picture. What should you actually do differently? Let me give you 4 concrete actions you can start this week. Action 1, start collecting service user and family feedback systematically. Run a survey at least twice a year, quarterly is even better, and keep it simple. Ask questions tied to those I statements we talked about. Do you feel safe? Are you treated with dignity, and do staff respect your choices? Would you recommend us? And here's the crucial bit. Don't just collect it, analyze it, identify themes, and act on concerns. Document what changed as a result and what's the evidence. Action 2, run staff surveys and actually use the results. Anonymous surveys work best because people feel more open and honest when they're not worried about consequences. Ask about support, training, ability rate to raise concerns, workload, culture, then share the themes at a team meeting. Show what you learned and what you're doing about it. You said, we did. That's powerful evidence of a listening culture. Action 3, build a file of partner feedback. Every time a professional says something positive about your service, ask if they'd mind popping it in an email. Keep a log of positive interactions and note when you've resolved any concerns raised by partners and what the outcome was. And create a simple folder titled Feedback from Partners and Endorsements. 12 months of professional voices supporting your service quality. Action 4, organize your evidence by category, not just by person or topic. Create a folder structure that mirrors the evidence categories. So people's experience, staff feedback, partner feedback, processes. For each quality statement you've assessed against, ask yourself, do I have evidence in multiple categories? If you're heavy in processes but empty everywhere else, you know exactly where to focus your energy. Here's the truth. If you're delivering great care, and I genuinely believe most of you are, the new evidence framework should actually help you. It gives inspectors more ways to see your quality, more voices to tell your story, and more evidence that goes beyond what's written on paper. But only if you collect it. The providers who thrive under this framework are the ones who understand that their rating isn't determined by their folders or policies, it's determined by the consistent story told across multiple services and voices, the people they support, the staff who deliver care, and the professionals who work alongside them. Stop spending 90% of your time on one evidence category. Start building evidence across all four. Remember the lady we discussed at the beginning, the one who requires improvement despite delivering brilliant care. She's changed her approach completely now. She runs quarterly feedback surveys, she has a partner endorsement file, and her staff know that their voice matters to the service's reputation. Now, when CQC come back, she'll have a very different evidence picture to show them. In the next episode, I'm going to show you how to build what we call an evidence library, a system for organising all this evidence so that when CQC call, you can hand over a complete professional evidence pack in 30 minutes. No panic, no scrambling, just ready. If you found this useful, subscribe and make sure to share with others.